Montreal.
Bottom tier.
I think
Bottom tier.
I think it would have been better if he'd come back with the replacements refs back, because they would have been less likely to call him offsides all the time. But
The craft management group guys, terrible, huh? That's what that magazine told me today.
Yeah, hey, they are terrible.
I think that
they're not the worst, though.
They're terrible, but I feel like that article kind of took a few liberties with facts when they were trying to compare. They were like, how are the Crafts going to pretend that the Patriots games are better than the New England? Even if New England has their own stadium, even if they have 3DPs, people are still going to be more excited about the Patriots than they are going to be about the Revolution.
True.
I actually do feel like the article sort of belied its headline. I feel like there were actually some legitimate things, some actual good things about the Revs, especially their management and how smart their executives are, especially their GM. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. It's certainly a lot better than we've got. Jesus.
But I don't think. I feel like you have to make the distinction between saying that the Crafts are competent management, but that's not what the MLS needs right now. We don't need competence. We need people with vision.
Well, but there's the management of the club, and then there are the owners of the club. And the management of New England, I think, is doing the best that they can in very, very difficult circumstances. They have no stadium atmosphere. They have very little funding. They have very little popular support in the community. And they have a very wealthy but absentee owner. So the management doing good, great, but they can't bankroll anything. They're employees. They're not employers.
Well, but here's the thing. I'd rather be in New England's situation than DC's. I'd rather be in their situation than Chicago's. I might honestly rather be in their situation than Colorado's or Dallas's, because they still have a open slate as to where they could put their soccer-specific stadium. And those guys, except for us, who we might move because everything sucks, those guys, those three, Chicago, Dallas, and Colorado, have tied themselves down to less than ideal soccer-specific stadiums so far away from the city center, whereas New England's actually, they're paying lip service to it, and they've made a point in the article, which this also sort of sounded like lip service, is what value would we gain in telling people we're looking for a stadium and we're not? But still, it's important to get that Portland, Seattle, downtown stadium where you can get all the hipsters to go to without having to drive their car, without having to drive 40 minutes away.
Yeah. But you're never going to... That's the thing about Boston, is it is so incredibly dense. You never... having lived in Boston for a while, you're never going to get something in Boston proper. That will never happen. That city is, tiny in terms of, square mileage, and because... some ridiculous percentage of the city itself is taken up by colleges or churches, two institutions that don't pay taxes. Land is really, really pricey. So getting a stadium-sized chunk of land is...
But you can still do something like Kansas City did. They play on the Kansas side of Kansas City, and there's a decent amount of public transportation that goes there.
Yeah.
Obviously, they fill their stadium every game. And there are a couple of places that are connected to, whatever lines are supposed to be there or already are there, that New England's holding out for, and power to them for it. That's what DC's been holding out for, but now everything's falling to shit with that. And honestly, I would put our owners below New England's. I would put Chicago's owners below New England's. But that's just me.
Yeah. Well, we could just give them all a big shit sandwich and just be like, "Congrats, guys, you all suck." I don't know who is worse out of all of them, but Boston saying, people saying "Oh, you can get a stadium in Boston." They definitely can't. Maybe in Revere, which is not. Revere is to Boston the same way that Bridgeview is to Chicago. It's out there. It is near a transit line.
Yeah,
you can get out to one part of it.
Well, Chicago fans complain about how they have to take 2 trains and a bus to get to their stadium.
You would have to, depending on where it is. I don't know. I don't want to get into talking about Boston geography, but it's kind of difficult for them to do it. And also, there doesn't seem to be any interest in having them do it. So that's, somebody's got to say, yes, we really want to do this, instead of oh, I guess that would be nice. Like,
just roll the dice and see what happens, right?
Yeah. Think about it. Think about it, guys. Like a stadium, like for us. I would imagine a lot of those, especially those suburbs that are kind of in the inner ring of suburbs, like a lot of those are not in particularly great shape in Boston, particularly the ones along in the north, like Revere. I mean, that's the one that keeps coming up. Like, I would imagine they would be extremely excited to have a soccer-specific stadium there. So it seems like you could make good, positive first steps if you wanted to, but they don't seem to be all that excited about doing it because the owners don't want to bankroll it. So there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. I had something to say. I don't remember what it was. I might just keep it to myself.
Okay.
Oh no, right.
One last thing. Secrets. Deal with it. Listening.
So, I mean, every time this is brought up, there has to be said that the Crafts and the Hunts are always important soccer figures from a historical standpoint. But it's sort of like I sort of feel like I read this like ESPN books about a couple years ago about the start of it and like just like the entire thing of it, with a bunch of interviews or whatever, and like how Bill Rasmussen started ESPN, but then it grew beyond his capabilities, so he had to sell it off, and he did. And I feel sort of the same way about the Hunts and the Crafts, and how, now they both only have one team, but I bet when the Hunts were controlling both Dallas and Columbus, I would imagine Dallas would have rather have had the new owner come in as opposed to the Hunts, but that didn't happen. So.
But it's not. It's kind of a weird situation though, because it's not that the Hunts and the Crafts don't have the resources to manage a better team, because they do. It's just that they're not willing to allocate those resources into those teams.
Right, and it's sort of like the Cranky situation in Colorado, where he owns like 7 teams. He owns the Nuggets and the Rams and the Avalanche and the Arsenal and also the Rapids. And so it's like it sort of feels like there's one guy in Tim Hinchy who's supposed to be running that organization, and sometimes it's overwhelming.
Just get so hard sometimes, guys. All right, guys, I think it's probably about time to wrap it up. I don't have a timer going, but we're getting there.
We're getting there.
You guys want to just start jumping in with some bold predictions?
Oh, yes. Okay. Pete sent me one that we can start with.
Has definitely been here the whole time, guys. He's just been lying in wait for this bold prediction.
Right. Well, I mean, let's see. Where is it?
Do you read it out, or do you have like a sound clip of Pete?
No, I don't have a sound clip. I told him to record a sound clip, but he didn't.
That guy.
So.
Couldn't be bothered. Seattle fans, am I right, other guys? Am I right, non-Seattle listeners? Yeah, we got him.
We should give him a break. He got engaged recently, so.
He did get engaged recently, guys. Everybody say congratulations to Punk Rock Pete, because he's engaged now.
Yeah, so I think we can forgive him a little bit. All right, so here's the email. Pete's bold prediction: Dallas gets blown out at home by Portland and makes everyone who put FCD at the top of power rankings look very silly. Thanks, Ian. Okay.
Wow.
Silly looking folks. Them some strong words, Pete. Truly punk rock.
Oh, man.
I think it's gonna happen. I think that Dallas is gonna fall, and that. I guess my bold prediction is that Josh won't resort to hot dog whiskey.
I can't, because I will be on a plane, and Lufthansa just isn't going to provide that kind of thing for you.
They're not that classy.
They're just not that kind of airline. My bold prediction is that RSL Toronto is going to be I think that's going to be the game of the weekend to watch, and I think it's going to be a really good game, and I have no idea who's going to win it.
My second prediction is that White Trash Weekly will come out to declare Vienna sausage firewater. I'm gonna be honest. This is like my favorite episode we've recorded, just because.
The story.
Just that it's a gift that we'll keep on giving.
Can we call the episode "Hot Dog Water" or something like that?
And to think I was gonna keep that to myself and just try and stick to soccer related.
Just gonna like try to look like a respectable adult for the rest of the
year. I know. What else am I looking forward to? I think Seattle Columbus is going to be good.
I, for one, am excited that Dempsey's still suspended.
Yeah, you know what? Seattle's actually better without him on.
Not that I think. I mean, I still think that Seattle is scary without him. I just think that they're scarier with him.
Yeah.
Are they gonna use those stupid black shirts too?
I hate the black shirts so much.
You know they have stupid black shirts. You saw the Montreal game, right? They're stupid black shirts.
Well, if they don't, then Columbus is going to have to wear its away jersey, and if they do that twice this already, I think they've run out of their allotment of times to not wear their yellow kits.
Yeah, what's up with that? You guys are supposed to be the yellows. We're the blacks. Everyone. No one else is a color. Well, Orlando will come in. They'll be the purples.
I'm glad we have a purple team coming in finally, and I really just hope, beyond all hope, that Miami comes in as the pink team.
Yeah. You know what? I'm telling you, one of my favorite kits is Palermo from Serie A.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
It's a great kit.
Team in this league can get away with pink. It's definitely Miami.
I know. It could look really good too. You could like do pink and then like a cross kind of motif on it. You know, it's Miami. It's full of Catholics. I think the possibilities that we should get, if only we had some sort of Reddit-based kit designer wonder kid.
Yeah, I know, right?
Let's get onto that.
On it.
Yeah. If you're listening, Ryan.
Get him on the podcast.
We're going to interview him every other week, by the way.
Yeah. No, there's nothing better than talking about pictures that people have drawn when no one can see the pictures.
We run a tight ship around here.
Yeah, we really do. All right.
I'm going to throw my hat into this and say Montreal and Chivas are going to pull out wins this weekend. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a bold prediction. That's how you do it, boys.
They are at New York.
Yeah.
Chivas is at New York. That seems unlikely. Montreal at Philly, also unlikely.
Also
bold
unlikely.
prediction, Dennis.
What do you guys, 25-1 odds we're going to take on this? Or
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we talking about for both of them to win?
For both.
For both? I'll go. Wait, are we betting like fictional currencies or?
No, this is getting real fast.
I'm throwing
out.
out
I know.
Are we betting
$1.7 million.
I'm gonna get out.
And allocation money, like $20 in allocation money.
How about this? If this happens, all of us use Toronto Flares for the next week.
Okay, that works.
There it is.
I don't even go on our MLS that much. It's not gonna. Then I will just look like another Areviste Toronto fan who's like, oh.
We'll figure this out.
I saw you
All right,
there.
guys, we're gonna figure this out off the air. We'll just tell Nadia that it's just gonna be an undisclosed amount of allocation funds.
Yeah. Player to be named later.
Look us up on Twitter. Hopefully next week we'll have more form to our podcast.
But less hot dog water, so, you know, you're lost. I may have started a trend.
Yeah, when this
All right,
when this
guys.
goes out, it'll be season 2, episode 10, the hot dog vodka shot episode.
Whiskey.
Fireball.
Hot dog, fire water. All right, guys.
Right, sorry.
All right.
Calling it off.
Guess who didn't make a bold prediction? Woo!
I think that
Dennis stole mine.
It was weirder when we don't have the interviews because we kind of wander a bit more.
But
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah, which is sometimes good.
A little. I think in this case the wandering was generally good.
Yeah,
Except maybe the hockey interlude.
that was, maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah.
I think what people want from us, and I don't know for sure, but people can get news anywhere. I think people are looking more for some relaxed commentary outside of the matches. Like, they still want us to cover what happened, obviously, but...
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to get away from... I mean, last year we were, like, just listing all the games and going...
Like
through.
robots, right? Like, just 1, 2, 3, 4.
And we were also just kind of reiterating things that had already been said on the sub a lot. So I think we've been better this year at getting away and like creating new content.
Yeah, and like I said, for the ones that I haven't been on and I've listened to, they're, like I said, for me they're a lot more interesting for non-news related. You know, because if you're going RMLS, you're probably already pretty good for news facts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like stories like Josh's story about the water, like the hot dog, like come on, that it doesn't get better than that. That's so awesome, bro. Like, people love it. So. Good on you. Good on you.
Good. I'm really glad that this came out right before I'm about to knock it on Reddit for like 2 weeks straight, because I really don't want to be the hot dog guy.
I'm not going to not let it be a thing. I'm going to make you that promise right now.
You know, I just realized I have a tag for Chris and Dennis and Pete. Well, Pete's tag is pretty lame, but I hadn't tagged you for anything other than Josh, so now I have something for that.
What are our tags?
Yeah, what are our tags?